What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, reacting to your comments once again. Let's get straight into it, people.
Yeah, I mean, Stel saying he wants a relegation. He wants relegation. There's been a lot of reaction to that. Kevin, 70, is already planning for relegation. He says, line up for next season in the Championship. Kinski in goal, Spence, Phillips, Dorrington and Souza back line. Tyrese Hall and Gray in the middle. Donnelly, Williams, Barnett and Mikey Moore in a front three with Lancashire up front.
That would cook, you know.
You know what?
I'll tell you what, Spence ain't staying around in the Championship, I'll tell you that.
If that's our lineup in the Championship, though,
It'll be quite exciting.
That's quite exciting. That's something to look forward to, at least. Something.
There is a part of me that wants to see it, but there is a bigger part of me that says, hell no, man. Just keep me in the Premier League.
Do you reckon that team would keep us up right now?
I think it depends. Oh, to keep us up?
Right now?
Probably not.
Probably not.
But I would say, like, if that team has the right manager behind them in the Championship, could they get promoted?
Yeah, why not? Get to the playoffs at least.
Yeah.
Get to the playoffs and see how it goes. Tony Tucker says, hiya, I'm from Lincoln. I'm looking forward to seeing you in your stadium next season.
Pipe down, mate. Pipe down.
All these Championship fans are coming into our comments these days. They're all getting excited. They're all getting excited.
Yeah,
Lincoln.
They're only going to, you know, if we join the Championship,
Lincoln.
We are going to be the biggest scalp of all time in Championship football.
And everyone's going to be looking forward to coming to the stadium and everything.
I mean, they do it the best times in the Premier League.
I know.
Imagine what it's going to be like in the Championship.
Going from Lincoln to Tottenham.
Oh, mate, please just don't let this happen. If there's someone up there, just do not let this happen. Please.
Tom Delaford says, scariest thing for me is I think they were trying. I saw lots of players putting in effort. It was all disjointed. No cohesion, no defending as a unit, no understanding of runs and space. 74% passing accuracy and one shot on goal is horrendous, especially as Fulham were average. A whole season of Frank Ball has removed any last shred of attacking spirit in these players. They're absolutely done for. Head's gone and Tudor comes in, plays 4 centre mids across the middle of the park. Shocking. Get Tell on, send Moani back to France and get Simmons in the 10. He says the scariest thing for him is they are trying. That's his point of view.
I don't see blood, sweat and tears on that pitch. You know, you might see a few players run around a bit here and there, but for me, I don't think they're going out there set on not trying and not wanting to give their all. But I just think the circumstances involved have not let them give their all, and I think there are players that are just coasting through games. I don't think you're seeing 100%. I
agree with that, but I also think what I see from a lot of these players is utter confusion on the pitch about what the plan is, how, like what they're doing with when they have the ball. A lot of the time they don't know what they do, so they just pass it back, and you see the opposition just squeeze, and then it ends up with just punting it long because we've got another option. And I think if we had more of a plan in possession, I think you would see more players. It's like they don't know what they're doing before they get the ball. It's like they're completely lost on the pitch, and that utter confusion and bamboozlement is leading as well to looking like players just passing out of play and giving it away constantly. And I think a lot of it is down to the coaching, but a lot of it, I agree. It's like the thing is when you don't know what you're doing, like, the harder you try, it doesn't make a difference. So all of a sudden you stop trying as hard, or subconsciously you I wouldn't say down tools, but as you said, I think they coast a bit because it's like, if I run those extra few yards, it ain't going to make the difference because we still don't know what we're doing. And I think that's the core of the issue, that on the ball, it's like we're clueless. I think that's a massive problem.
And it just makes them not want to bust the gut to get in the right positions, in the right places, in the right make the right runs. I mean, it's just... That's why we say it's just a shit show from top to bottom, from the coaching to the ownership and the players as well. Like, nothing is in alignment with each other. And this is what causes this sort of outcome. Like, if a player's making the right run 10 times a game and he ain't getting it at all, he's going to stop making the run. But then fans going to tell us, like, why aren't you making the run? You're not trying. Well, I'm not getting it. I'm making it 10 times out of 10 and I'm not getting it. And what's the point of me making the run if I ain't going to get it? That's kind of the mentality. But also, like, that's on the attacking side of the game, right? But when you're talking about the defensive side of the game, like, how many times did we see in that Fulham game alone just Fulham being able to just pop it around us because Spurs aren't moving and Spurs are just literally static, acting like statues stuck in the mud, what I said on the review show. And it's just like...
I think that comes from we're doing this man-to-man marking, but yet everyone's quite unsure who they're picking up, and then they're unsure if they should go the man hell nor level, or do they if they're pulled out of position, do they slip back?
So they end up going for nobody,
and they end up, exactly, there's hesitancy, and they end up going for no one. And I think that leads to what we saw in that second goal, where statues, Gray's not sure, should I step out or should I just stay? But he's pointing at Van der Ven, and Van's like, no, I've got a man, you have to go, and that hesitancy leads to all that space. The Swiss AI says two-door is the right name, in the front door and straight out the back door. There you go. That's how it is. You know what? I said it after the game. I'm calling it. I actually think he gets sacked.
After Palace.
I'm not sure after Palace. I don't know if he lasts the season.
If he loses to Palace, I think it's a very good chance of it, man.
I think he'll survive a Palace, depending if how bad the loss is. I think he'll survive a Palace loss. If it's like a tight one where we could have got something, I think he survives it. But I think if we then lose to Liverpool and then don't beat Forest, I think he's gone. I think he's gone. Because I think there's an international break, you said, after that. So I think that's a great time to get rid of him if they're so inclined. And I think there's a good chance that happens. Wow. Richard Philpott says, I agree with Stelios. Short of wanting Spurs to go down, I've also spent time on Twitter before closing my account trying to warn Spurs of the threat of stagnation under our owners, and I was called all sorts, especially negative. I love Tottenham with all my heart, and I hate to be negative. I don't want this for the club, hovering 4 points off the relegation and facing a threat of being dumped out of the Prem. I want them to flourish and be successful, just like they were in the 60s under Bill Nick. But the appalling stewardship of the football team under our owners has been painful. Sporting success and winning trophies isn't happening under ENIC, and it never will. To think I had deluded myself that Levy alone was the problem.
I mean, I just can't get behind someone that wants to get relegated. I don't care of the outcomes in terms of the ownership. I don't see us going down being a major catalyst to them suddenly being able to make the right decisions. I think it's absolute nonsense. Like, Spurs staying in the Premier League, like, I just don't understand any sort of someone that wants to get relegated because they think it's going to be the good of the club. It's going to be to the detriment of the club. I think it's nonsense, really is.
There's one thing making all the bad decisions in the position that we are now, and obviously it's terrible when no one's happy, but if they start making the wrong decisions when we're down there,
exactly,
all of a sudden we are catastrophic, deeply in shit, and who knows where that could spiral to.
Exactly.
And I don't think we want to find out.
No, we definitely don't want to find out. We need to stay in the Premier League desperately.
Yeah,
like, if we go down, this could be the scariest. This is the scariest situation that this club has faced in probably since the 70s, or since we were last in a relegation bout in the late 90s. Like, I can't stress enough how scary this situation is. If we drop out of the top flight, we could not be back for a long time.
It's possible.
Look at Leicester right now. Look at Leicester. They dropped out the top flight last season.
How long? 15 years?
Yeah, but Leicester were Premier League champions in what year? In 2016. They won the FA Cup a few years after that, I think in 2019 or 2018, whenever it was.
And then finished fifth twice.
Now, they are in the Championship after getting relegated last season or the season before? It was last season. Last season.
Doubled back-to-back.
They're in the relegation zone in the Championship right now. That shows you how quickly things can spiral. And I think there have been plenty of teams that have done double relegations year after year, Premier League and then to League One.
Luton did it. I know we're different to Luton, but Luton did it. And Leeds have done it. Leeds got doubly relegated, didn't they? I don't know if it was back-to-back, but they went down and then spent a few years in League One, didn't they?
Yeah.
J. Den Dodd says, while I think he's ridiculous for wanting relegation, he is also bang on with what he's saying. As long as they are financially benefited, they ain't going to change and they ain't going to go anywhere. So if relegation forces their hand, it could be a good thing. It's a very difficult position Tottenham fans find themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, people used to be like, oh, they only want the Champions League money. They only want the Champions League money. Now they're saying they only want the Premier League money. It's just like, how far are we?
They only want that playoff money.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
They want that playoff money.
It's just like, when we're in the Championship and we're fighting for the playoffs, they'll be like, they don't want to finish in the top two. The playoff brings you more money, so let's
they're going to start saying,
the playoffs.
they just want the parachute payments. That's what they want. That's what they're going to start saying.
The whole thing's ridiculous, man.
I think, wanting relegation is just like, it's like cutting off your nose to spite your face.
That's exactly what it is. That is the exact term for it. You know? I just can't get behind it, man.
Mike Hart says, look at Leicester, won the whole thing a decade ago. Look at Stoke. Your owners won't sell if you go down. At a loss, this isn't a movie. The solution isn't to burn it down. That is insane. It doesn't work that way. To sell, that's obviously what we've been saying. David Tucker says, unpopular opinion, Levy was the only thing holding together the shit show upstairs. He managed everybody's mistakes and was the face of all that was bad, but had the best interest of the club and genuinely wanted us to be challenging, and was the only one with an idea of how to run the club. The Lewis family have no idea what they're doing. The pressure on Levy has forced the board to make him hire Vina and Lange to split responsibilities, when actually it's just forced out the wrong person. This club is awfully managed, but for 20 years, although our transfer policy was backward, you couldn't knock Levy for how he turned us into a top club and sustained it. No, he didn't push us to the next level, but he could have just been held back by the people with more power than even him. We're effed with the Lewis family. We're effed with Vina and Lange. I don't see us surviving at the moment. We need Bergvall back. Kudus would be nice, but I think we're in trouble.
I think this whole narrative about Daniel Levy and, you know, looking back at his time at Spurs being like, oh, if only would have kept Levy, he would never be in this position. Everything that we're going through now has Levy's fingerprints all over it. Vinay, a Levy appointment. Lange, a Levy appointment. Thomas Frank, Levy was involved in that appointment. Everything that has gone wrong with Tottenham this season has Daniel Levy's fingerprints all over it. So who's to say that if we didn't change, if Daniel Levy wasn't kicked out of the club in September, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. There is nothing to suggest that we wouldn't. So Daniel Levy needed to go. And on the Lewis family, like, I think when you're trying to judge the Lewis family right now, like, if we're going to take it on face value that Levy's left, the Lewis family have come in and they're completely separate solutions, right? It's too early to judge on what the Lewis family are actually made of and what they're going to bring to this football club. I'm not sitting here and saying they're the answer and they're going to take us forward and they're going to take us on to the next level. Obviously, you've got to go into it with your eyes wide open and definitely look at them as being part of ENIC, and it's on them to prove us wrong as opposed to us trying to give them more time and to say they're the saviours of the football club. But as of right now, they've had one transfer window. They've let the decision makers of this football club, who are Johan Lang and Vinay, make the decisions. They've given the money. You know, that we offered higher wages to Semenyo than Manchester City did. We've broken our wage structure in terms of brought in Conor Gallagher. They're not the ones making the decision of which players to bring in. That's on Johan Lang and that's on Vinay. So all they can do right now is give the money and let the footballing people make the footballing decisions. It's just unfortunate for them. The people that Levy has left in charge is Johan Lang and Vinay. Yes, they need to go. And if Johan Lang and Vinay do stay here past this season, and then that becomes on the Lewis family and that becomes their problem. On top of that, they let the footballing people as well keep the manager and make the decision on the manager until it became way too untenable. Yes, they should have stepped in probably earlier than they did, but we've been asking for so long, for so many years, for Daniel Levy to step away from the footballing side, let the footballing people make the footballing decision, and that is what these people are actually trying to do. So I give them credit on the way that they're trying to run this football club. They're just in a very bad situation with a lot of bad people at the helm. So I think it's a bit too early to judge what they're actually trying to do right now.
But to be fair to the commenter, in terms of Daniel Levy would have stepped in, wouldn't he? Earlier, probably.
But this is what we've been asking for him not to do.
Correct, but it would have been the right decision. On
100%.
occasion. And I think he has stepped in probably too early, maybe, on some other occasions. You think of...
but they're all his appointments. This is what I'm saying. These are all his appointments.
They're all exactly. So, and to think like we wouldn't be in this trouble. We were in this trouble last season. We were 17th. Like, there was a reason for that, and it wasn't just because Ange was rubbish and everything. There was lots of reasons, and a big part of it was how this football club has been run and the transfer window we had under Levy last year. If we would have had that window this summer, you know, everyone be piling on and saying it's all Levy's fault. So we had that window with 3 teenagers and just Solanke under Daniel Levy. So it was already going awry before he left, and I don't think you can absolve him of all blame just because it's gone horribly long since he's gone. It's because of the damage he's left. I think is a big part of the reason we're in the position that we're in. So I don't think you can just say the only thing you could say that would be different is he would have got rid of Frank earlier. Maybe we could have pulled ourselves out of the situation a bit earlier than we have done. We have left ourselves in a real risk of relegation. Had we have let go of Frank earlier, maybe we wouldn't have. Maybe that's the only thing you could say that would have been different. Other than that, in terms of the footballing direction, getting us competing, it was already going downhill before Levy left.
Long time ago,
a long time ago, especially for the last 6 years. Everyone could see the direction was heading in, Conte's second season, then Nuno before that, but Conte's second season, then last season when we won Europa, but the league form tanked, and now we're in the situation we're in now. So, and he appointed Frank as well. So, for me, I don't think that's. I agree with that opinion.
But I see a lot of people being like, oh, but this is what a Levy-less Tottenham looks like. This is not what a Levy-less Tottenham looks like. This is what a Levy Tottenham looks like. This is everything that's going on at this football club, like I said before, has his fingerprints all over it. And until we kind of get that out of the club and these guys can bring in their own people and see how they do things, then we won't know. And, it's right. You've got to call it for how it is with the Lewis family. They are part of Enoch and they are part of that family and they come from that family. But still, like, I'm going into it not being like, I said at the beginning, I'll give them a few transfer windows, and I'll still give them a few transfer windows, but it's up to them to prove that they're not the same people.
Agreed. The ironic thing is this season we probably needed a Levy, you know what I mean? Just for now, to make that tough decision that needed making. But then again, how do you know that decision needs making until you do? And I guess the one criticism you would say is the Lewis family definitely waited too long to step in. But I agree with you. Like, we have asked for them the higher ups to step away, and they did that. But unfortunately, this is the one time they shouldn't have done it. But yeah, what to do?
Yeah. I mean, they also gave Ange till the end of last season, so maybe they would. Levy might have stuck it through with Thomas Frank because he was trying to change his ways a little bit.
Yeah, fair point. I mean, he did, but with the threat of relegation wasn't really real last season.
True. So look, I think that whole narrative about Levy being the saving grace of Tottenham is completely crap, and we're in this mess because of Levy, in my opinion. But anyway, that is the comments. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.